Right. Father, Kamala Harris really believes that our kids are actually her kids for her use to further the plans of the globalist left. Father, this is the reason they make pronouncements like this with no apologies, is it not?
That's right. They really do believe that because it's part of an entire philosophy, which is the antithesis of the Judeo-Christian philosophy on which our country was built. At the core of Judeo-Christian philosophy is the reality that God creates human beings, governments exist to serve those human beings, and those human beings are organized in families. The family is the first government, the first school, the first church, and the family has an independence and it has rights just as the individual does. So to reject that entire Judeo-Christian philosophy, which we know the left does and has done for decades, is precisely to reject the idea that children belong first to their parents and only secondarily and with the consent of the parents do they get entrusted to, for example, teachers in school or any other kind of agency that has its proper place in society to come along and help. But the idea is that they are helping the parents in the primary responsibility that they have.
Father, Elon Musk is blaming the American education system for breaking up his family. His 18-year-old daughter, Vivian, has decided she's transgender and she has turned against her own father. So if you don't hand your child over to the globalist communists, they will break up your family and take them just to gain political power. What kind of pure evil are we facing here, Father Pavone?
You know, isn't it interesting how all this language takes words that we use, rights, for example. Okay, rights.
Yes.
And they're going to talk about the rights of children, but not the rights of children the way we conceive of it as, well, first of all, they have the right to life, they have the right to an education, etc. But no, rights that they have over and against their parents. And these rights, the statist mentality, well, we're going to take care of the rights of these, our children, the children of the country. And if it means that we have to stand between the parents and those children that have rights, whether to transition their gender or to take any kind of drugs that they want or do whatever they want, we're going to step right in there and we will protect them from these parents. You know, Gina, you think of all this, and I think this segment that you're doing is so important on these themes. And let's reflect on this for a moment. Where did all this start? You know, people ask, well, how did we get to the time where we can't say a man is a man or a woman is a woman? Maybe it's because for 50 years we've been saying a baby's not a baby. As you know, and as many of our audience knows, abortion is my full-time mission, right? So fighting abortion. It's the error we made there 50 years ago when we pretended that this child developing in the womb is not really a baby, unless you choose to recognize that, right? You choose the baby, oh, well, then it's a baby. You want to abort, well, then it's not a baby. Well, wait a second. That was the break with biological reality. That was the break right there. To break with the biological reality that now allows us to say, well, of course a man is a man, of course a woman is a woman, it's built in biology. Well, to break with that now is only a logical outgrowth of that mistake we made 50 years ago. And I say that because this is exactly a defining characteristic of the left. And I was so glad that you started with Tulsi Gabbard here because, you know, a friend of mine is very close to her. And I can tell you from everything I know through him, she is completely sincere about this. She is 100% true to what she is saying, and she's been on this path for a while. You know, she's been saying things for a while that show that she's fed up with this because it's a battle not just between left and right or good and evil. It's a battle between common sense and insanity, and part of the insanity is precisely this. Just this divorce from biological reality, physical reality, and moral reality. I'll just define everything exactly the way I want it to be defined. And it seems to lead to freedom, but it actually opens the door to this totalitarian, tyrannical regime that the left wants to impose on our country.